Buenos dias, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you this morning. Before I start, if I may just ask, you know, are all of us concerned about how well we're aging? Would that be a fair question to ask? I think so. About how our parents are aging. Do any of you know people who may have had cancer? Or are you concerned about in the future that you might have cancer? Well, these are things that are relevant to what we're doing. I think several companies here have talked and noted on the importance of aging, and the solutions that they offer and the services have to do with aging, and what we do is also very relevant. I was just looking this morning. Would somebody care to guess what the average age currently is in the European Union? Do I have anyone who's prepared to give me a number? Yeah, 44. We're at 44 years old. In some countries like Monaco, for example, where there's a lot of retired wealthy people, are in the mid-50s. Japan and others, very high. So the average age in Europe, I think we can safely say, is beyond the half point of average lifespan. So this is something that of all of us, it's going to continue to go that way. So aging well and aging healthy, as well as all the services that the other companies have presented, is very important. So with that, I'll start my presentation. So if we can go to the first slide, please. I have to do it myself? Okay. With this? Okay. So very quickly, LifeLength is a Spanish-headquartered clinical laboratory and life sciences biotech firm that's been around now for about 10 years. I won't ask you to read this material. Happy to share it with anyone who wants it. And we have developed, after a very substantial amount of R&D and investment, a patented technology, a platform to measure something called telomeres, or telomeres, depending on how you want to pronounce it. In case you're not familiar with what those are, these are components of our DNA. They're the caps at the ends of our chromosomes that are very important in regulating our aging process. Every time the cells in our body divide, and not only in human beings, but in all living things, these telomeres, they shorten. And when they become critically short, our cells become senescent. And senescent cells are one of the major factors, major contributing factors in the aging process. And therefore, aging is heterogeneous. Not all people age at the same rate. You can have the same chronological birth date on your passport as another person, but your biological age can actually be very different. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about and what telomeres do. So our laboratory is the world leader in this field of telomere diagnostics. And we are the most accredited clinical laboratory in Spain. We are the only U.S. federal, what's called CLIA lab, in the country of Spain, and we also possess a number of ISO certifications, like the other companies have mentioned, very important in this field of healthcare, the regulation and the accreditation to guarantee that what you're doing has clinical validation and all the quality control that's necessary. So, as I mentioned, telomeres are these caps on the chromosomes. They don't encode for DNA, for proteins rather, or enzymes. What they do is they protect the integrity of the DNA when cells are dividing. In every cell in your body, you have 92 telomeres. And the telomeres shorten in a stochastic manner, meaning they don't shorten in a linear manner. So as the cells divide, some of the telomeres get shorter than others, and it's the shortest telomeres in the cells that determine whether a cell can continue to divide. And this is supported by more than 35,000 publications that you can go and read in PubMed, and 5 Nobel Prizes, and more than almost 90 years now of research. So this is very relevant because if you want to look at telomere biology in a clinical setting, you have to be able to measure the telomeres individually by chromosome. There's a lot of scientific technologies that can measure telomeres, but we are the only company in the world that measures them individually. And that's quite relevant because, as I said, it's the shortest telomeres that will determine the viability of the cell, not the average telomere length. And this just mentions what I was saying about the publications. And there are many publications that have not only shown that telomeres are important in aging, but in age-related diseases, which is logical. If you were to ask a physician, if you were behind a screen and the doctor couldn't see you, and you told the doctor, what's the one question that you could ask a patient, an individual, to assess their health, and you can't see the patient, the doctor would inevitably say, how old are you? Because age is the greatest risk for health-related problems. Now, it's much more relevant if you talk about biological age than chronological age. And I'm sure we can all think of examples of people that we know who are 50 or 60, who have the health and energy and physical appearance even of someone a decade or more younger, and other people with that same age who have very serious health problems. And that's a reflection, again, of the heterogeneous nature of aging, which is dependent on many factors. It's dependent on your genetic inheritance, which you can't control, but it's also very dependent on your lifestyle. And therefore, lifestyle factors influence heavily in the development of age-related diseases. And so if you drink a lot of alcohol, if you smoke, if you take drugs, if you have a lot of stress, all of those things will accelerate your aging. And this makes understanding aging, if we want to not only have long lifespans, but more importantly, I would say long health spans, then this is really important in the world of preventative medicine, where we want to understand what our rate of aging is. So we work, I'll talk just a bit about our facilities, then we'll talk about our services very quickly. So these are our laboratories. They're in Madrid. They're in an area of Madrid called Tres Cantos. And we have very modern, state-of-the-art laboratories, over 600 square meters, where we perform our services. And if there are people here who are interested in collaborating with us, and like everyone, we're very interested in finding partners, clients, both in Spain and around the world, we'd be very happy to have those opportunities and to invite you to see our facilities. And this is a little bit what our facilities look like. And this is a little bit about our technologies and applications. So at the core, we have this patented platform that we call telomere analysis technology, or TAT for short. And then we have a lot of other related assays that also have to do with aging. So think about things like oxidative stress, think about things like inflammation, like cytokinins and inflammatory biomarkers. And in fact, we have a collaboration with a Finnish firm, 𝘷𝘪𝘷𝘰, which provides us kits for us to do a test to look at oxidative stress and NAD+. And these are things that are very involved, again, in the aging process. So we're very happy to work with 𝘷𝘪𝘷𝘰 and have a partnership with them already. And so we have these four kind of blocks of areas of business. We work in personalized medicine, where we work with physicians from more than 35 countries, where they send us a sample from a patient, and they want to analyze what's that patient's biological age, and from that blood sample we can give them a report. And to give you an idea of the validity of our technology, we have doctors sending us samples from Tokyo, from Los Angeles, from Mexico. So it's a very unique service that we offer, and we are a unique company in the world and the leader in this field. And those respond to that's the upper left corner, and then we've begun adding other biomarkers also related to aging, because aging is very complex. It's not just responding to one factor, and then we therefore can give a bigger, a more complete picture of how individuals are aging. Then we have an area that we work with pharmaceutical companies, and we have done work for huge pharma companies. Some of the names are public, like companies like Takeda, like Merck, Geron, and others. And these companies send us typically either their active ingredients that we're going to test to see how they're impacting on cells using our unique assays, because they want to do an in vitro or in vivo study, or they're actually sending us patient samples from a CRO where they're doing a study, say, on cancer, and they want to see how the medication is impacting on the senescence of the telomeres of the cancer cells, which they want to try to halt the cancer. And so there's a lot of work being done in these fields, as well as others like in cosmetics and in nutraceutical supplements, where people are looking to demonstrate efficacy of their products. And then most recently, we are the first Spanish company to have ever brought to market a test for cancer diagnosis. There are, of course, hundreds of tests for cancer, and diagnostic space in cancer is the largest area in the world in terms of diagnostics. More money is spent on cancer diagnostics than in any other field, for obvious reasons. But unfortunately, until now, no Spanish companies ever actually developed a test and brought it to market, and we have. And it's the first test that uses telomere diagnostics, and it's for the diagnosis of prostate cancer. And this test has already gone through the entire regulatory cycle in the European Union and in the US, and is already approved, and we're now in the commercial phase to offer this test through urologists for men who may be at risk of having prostate cancer, which is the most frequent cancer for men and is often very poorly diagnosed. And the objective of the test fundamentally is to avoid men undergoing biopsies who in fact don't have prostate cancer. And if you're interested in this, again, very happy to discuss this more with you. And then we have another project, which we're very pleased to say, we've just received 2 million euros through the European program, the EIC program, through the Comunidad de Madrid, for 2 million euros to support our next test, which is for a blood-based, very non-invasive test for lung cancer, of which we've already done one study, which is about to be published, and again, a very large need for non-invasive screening, inexpensive tests that can help diagnose lung cancer, which, to give you an example, although it's not as prevalent as prostate cancer, the mortality rate, unfortunately, of lung cancer is extremely high, about 85%. So early diagnosis is very, very important. And these are some of the areas that we've developed, and then we have some other areas in our pipeline for such important fields as infertility, in this case for male infertility, where we're able to apply our technology to look at the idiopathic cases of men, which is about half of men who have infertility problems don't have a clear diagnosis, and this is a tool that we can use for that, help them. And then such things as CAR-T and cell stem therapies, which also need better diagnostic tools to determine whether those treatments will be effective or not. This is a little bit about the test that we call HealthTav for biological age. All of you can go, of course, on our website, lifelength.com, and read more about it. And if you're interested and you're in Madrid or in Spain and you want to do the test, or even if you're in Finland, we're very happy to organize to do this test for you. As I say, it's just a simple blood sample, and you can see its clinical utility with your physician. I won't go through all of the details to respect our timeline. And then these are some of the other tests that we've developed. The NAD test is in partnership with a Finnish company that I mentioned earlier. And then this other test is to look at oxidative stress. And then we have additional tests that we are developing. And the whole idea is to be able to have a complete holistic view of our aging process. And just like when you do a checkup, they'll look at your cholesterol, they'll look at your lipid profile, they'll look at hormones. These are biomarkers, innovative biomarkers that are going to become increasingly used by physicians around the world as we move to a model where people are trying to be more proactive about maximizing their health span, and longevity. And these are the tests that I mentioned earlier, the one for prostate cancer, which is called ProStav, and the test that we have now in development, new MonoTav. The TAV stands for telomere-associated variables, of which we measure over 200 variables in order to develop the algorithms that provide the diagnosis for the physician. And that's a brief summary of our company. Thank you for the opportunity. There's my email if anyone wants to speak with me or contact me. And as the other companies have mentioned, we are in our commercial phase now. We're always open to considering additional investment capital, of course, but our primary focus now is commercializing, after many, many, many years of very hard R&D, to get to this point of clinical validation that these different services that I've mentioned are now be used by clients in Spain, in the EU, and around the world. Thank you.
Thank you.